In June 1829, Robert E. Lee graduated from West Point at the top of his class. He distinguished himself with 4 spotless years without a demerit, and wrapped up his studies with perfect scores in artillery and infantry. All who knew him agreed that he was the brightest officer in the United States Army. At 27, Lieutenant Lee became an assistant in the chief engineer's office. With the Louisiana Purchase, the young nation doubled its size, and it became very clear that the Mississippi River would play an increasingly important role in the future of the United States. There was a major problem on the river. The Des Moines Rapids hampered the movement of people and goods. Leaders in Washington realized the importance of river traffic. The Army Corps of Engineers sent its best officer, Lieutenant Lee, with 2 companies of men to survey these rapids to determine how best to deal with them. Robert E. Lee would spend as much time surveying the Des Moines Rapids as he did later in his life as the commander of the Army of Northern Virginia. Lee's management of the survey team proved what he could do. He made a survey of the rapids that even today is remarkable in its detail and accuracy. Lee's map is 5 by 2 feet in size. It has found a place of honor in the United States National Archives. The map took thousands of hours to make. The map measured thousands of depths in the Mississippi as the water fell 22 feet in elevation over hard limestone. The survey became one of the best surveys ever made in the first half of the 19th century. It was a testament to Lee's genius. Lee finished his map in September 1837, 2 years before Joseph Smith came to the area to establish the city of Nauvoo. In the survey, Lee was looking for a possible channel through the rapids that boats would be able to use without tearing their bottoms on the rocks. Not until 1913 did the nation build its first dam on the Mississippi at Keokuk, and that would cause the backing up of the river's waters over the rapids to remove the danger. Today, the Des Moines Rapids no longer roll because they are covered by water. In its time, these rapids were an important reason why the people of Zarahemla located their city on the west bank of the Mississippi. The rapids stopped traffic and required the portage of goods. People had to get out of their boats and move their goods on land. The place of portage became a place of rest and a place of defense. It was only natural at that place, on the continent's largest river, that a community would grow to become the country's largest city. The Book of Mormon speaks of only one river, the river Sidon. The river and the city of Zarahemla are always linked together. The Book of Mormon mentions that near Zarahemla, a Lamanite army in retreat walked across the Sidon River. We believe that the city of Zarahemla was located next to the Des Moines Rapids. Lee's 1837 survey gives thousands of soundings, measuring the depth of the Mississippi at various points. The details from Lee's 1837 survey are so remarkable that it is possible to determine a route that an ancient army could have used to walk across the Mississippi 2,000 years ago. The place for this crossing is close to the city of Zarahemla. For sure, the Mississippi is the most important river in America. It is one of the world's great rivers. The question is really simple. Is there a crossing on the Mississippi where an army could walk across such a large river where the depth of the water is less than 5 feet? This is a detail in the story of the Lamanite army crossing the river Sidon on foot that helps us to locate Zarahemla. Robert E. Lee's survey of the Des Moines Rapids gives us sufficient details for us to look for such a crossing. The survey has a scale that is measured in chains, where one chain is equal to 6.6 feet. The survey shows the width of the Mississippi at the rapids. that was about 90 chains, or 5,940 feet. There are thousands of soundings for the rapids. Each sounding required the cooperation of at least 3 men. One man was in the river with a 10-foot iron rod to determine the water's depth. Another man was at a fixed position on the river's bank, measuring the horizontal angle to the man standing in the river. And a third man was at another fixed position, measuring a second horizontal angle to the same man in the river. Using the marvel of trigonometry, the 2 men on the bank could triangulate the position of the third man who was standing in the water. The depth of the water, or the sounding, was then recorded for each spot. By looking up and down at the rapid soundings, it is possible to identify a route that an ancient army could have taken to walk across the river Sidon. Such a place for such a crossing would be close to the city of Zarahemla. Thank you, Robert E. Lee, for doing what you did. You gave us the ability to confirm the place where a Lamanite army walked across the mighty Mississippi River near Zarahemla.